Hello and welcome to another episode of Sonya, Maya Psychology, or Ask the Clinician. This is a safe space where we talk about psychology, sex, and relationships. So if you like that kind of thing, hit that like, finger that subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications. Hey. Today I'm going to be talking about a topic that was requested from one of my fan pals. If you didn't already know, if you subscribe to my FanPal, link is below. You get one request per month. It's a general thing. It's not a replacement for therapy or anything like that. Disclaimer, disclaimer. However, if you request a topic, then I talk about some research-based facts about that topic that can be generalized for a lot of people who may be curious about this particular topic. Basically, somebody said that they're in their 60s, they are 63 years old, and they've been married for 38 years, and they're looking to bring something new and exciting to the bedroom. I would love to get into the health benefits of spicing things up as a human, but especially in your 60s. I also want to talk about a few ways to spice things up. I've talked about spicing things up on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. But today I'm going to be talking about a few other ways that are more specific. To keep it interesting, I'm going to be talking about 3 ways to spice things up with some examples. So let's get into it, shall we? Yes, we shall. So there was a great 2007 study done that talked about how men and women over the age of 65 who reported any sexual activity in the past year had significantly higher enjoyment of life. So it's no secret that being an older adult, even though it does decline with time, being sexually active, that is, individuals who are sexually active tend to have better psychological well-being. And then there was a study that had mentioned that study. In this 2024 study, they were talking about how sexuality is really important for people who are older, but there is a lack of awareness and proper care in healthcare settings when it comes to providing adequate sex education, and sharing a holistic and evidence-based approach will empower providers to better support the evolving sexual health needs of older adults, therefore improving the quality of life. So this is important. I just wanted to put that out there. Yes, even though you're older, it doesn't matter if you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s, you can have a very healthy sex life, and it's really good for you. So the first tip I'm going to say is, if you only have sex in one place, number 1, change the location, okay? Let's say you always have sex in your bedroom. Try somewhere else in the house. Maybe the closet, maybe the shower, maybe the steps. And, if it's safe and in a space where you're not going to get trouble and caught, one of the most popular places to have sexual activity is in a car. So that can be exhilarating for some people. I did look up an article that was talking about examples of places that you can have sex that aren't your bedroom, and I did see some interesting ideas. Some of the ideas on this Love Pinky website were interesting. So it says on the kitchen table, I like that. On the hallway, I said on the stairs already, but be careful with that. That could hurt. On the couch, of course. In the garden shed. Okay, maybe when you don't have neighbors watching, it depends on the garden shed, okay? Was it Benjamin Franklin who used to do that, apparently? He'd be like on his patio naked. Yeah, don't be like Benjamin Franklin. On top of a washing machine, I like that one. It really depends on the dynamic, but I think that could be pretty hot given the rhythmic sensation, especially if it's on, you know what I mean? Getting things clean while you're getting dirty, I mean, why not? Why not give it a try? This might not be a mystery to all of you, but when you go on vacation and you stay at a hotel, you're a lot more likely to have a better, spicier sex life, not only because you're away from the distractions of home, but you can switch hats. Let's say you have kids at home. It could be a little bit harder to feel your erotic, sexy self when you're in the same environment that you're parenting. So the more you can get away from your natural environment to spice things up, the better. I understand that could be a bit of a privileged idea, but when you have the opportunities to get away from your house or at least your bedroom, give it a go. Number 2, adding toys, games, or kinky devices to the bedroom. So when I say toys, I don't just mean sex toys, but I do in some cases, so I'll get to that in a bit. But lubricant is an amazing product. It is the most popular one that's used, but a lot of people underestimate the power of lubricant. There is great research on this. And when you get older, sometimes it gets a little bit drier in some cases. We don't have control over that. So adding a very safe lube to the mix can be a great way to spice things up and increase the pleasure, decrease potential pain. You can also try couples toys. So for example, they have these vibrators that have remote control or even connect to an app on your phone. That could be a fun way to spice things up, even if you go on a date. There are some that are wearable. For example, WeVibe has a really good one. I actually talked about this in a recent YouTube video that I'll put up here if you wanna look into that last one. But yeah, it's basically a vibrator that you can put inside your vagina, and you can go on a date and your date can control it from across the table or even across states. Yes, pretty cool stuff. So there's a lot of different ones you could do. I would also say for partner play in the moment, wands are really great. Bullet vibrators and wands can be really nice, not only for stimulating a clitoris of someone that you're, having sex with, right? But also for erogenous zones, like putting a vibrator on the nipples, maybe on the anus, etc. There's a lot of different ways that you can use a vibrator to spice things up. And even though this one might be a little bit stigmatized and taboo for some people, there are male masturbators. Okay, so if you are a penis owner or you're in a relationship with someone who's a penis owner, using some people call them fleshlights. I like to call them male masturbators because they all look different, and Tenga has some really good ones that are kind of classy. There's reusable ones and there's ones that you throw out, fleshlight, whatever you want to call it, pocket pussy, it's up to you. But yeah, that can be a good way to spice things up too, because let's face it, hand jobs, they're a little limiting sometimes. So your hand can't do what a fleshlight can or a male masturbator can. So adding those to the mix. You can also try role play, and there's a lot of different ways you can learn how to do that. If you're going to use certain kinky devices, let's say like a paddle, let's say you want to try spanking, you want to make sure to do your research first, figure out how to do it safely. And also when you're getting certain products, you want to go to shops or websites that are sex positive. When you go to mainstream ones, you might find some unsafe product. In my mind, I live in Philadelphia, so Condom Kingdom, of course, they're going to have some great stuff, but it is a very popular and touristy shop. So just be careful with the brands that you are buying from. For example, I was listening to a video earlier where someone was talking about how handcuffs are actually not that safe because of wrists, but there's cuffs, right? You can use cuffs instead. So just being mindful of the safety of the devices that you're using, but there's nothing wrong with adding some kinky activities. Another example of a way you can spice things up at any age would be scratch-off games. I did a brand deal for this company called the Adventure Challenge, and they have these really fun date night scratch-off cards that come with a Polaroid camera. So the Adventure Challenge with the Polaroid, it's the couples edition. Really, really cool. They sent me the Polaroid. I am single AF, so I haven't used it myself, except for I've used the Polaroid camera with friends. But the scratch-off cards are really juicy, so that can be really fun for a date night, which brings me into number 3. Adding intimacy dates or desire dates to the calendar. This is something I recommend for my individual and couples in terms of clients, because there's something about adding it to the calendar, right? It doesn't have to be sex, just intimacy. Putting on the calendar shows your partner that you're prioritizing time with them. And it doesn't have to be sex. Like I said, it could be massages, it could be cuddling, it could be, we're just going to take a moment to bond and connect without our phones during this intimacy date. I would recommend that you give each other massages. So at the beginning of the date, one person is the giver, the other is the receiver, and then you switch, and then you can use number terminology to communicate what you like and what you don't like. So a 0 to a 1 is I don't really like to be massaged there, whereas a 5 is like, ooh, I really like this. Because when you get out of the, oh no, I don't like that, when you get out of that, it's a lot easier, because the person who's hearing the no might consciously or unconsciously start feeling rejected and maybe not even want to ask. Using number terminology can be a good practice, or you can use red light, green light terminology. Like green light is really good. Red light is no, stop. And then yellow light is, I kind of like this, or maybe switch it up a little bit. Also, if you start taking notes of ways that you want to be desired, like certain types of things that you want your partner to do, and kind of like leave little sticky notes for them throughout the day, or collect in a jar, right? Something that you want your partner to do, and you have like one specific jar or hat or box where you'll kind of just like slip in little things like, ooh, it'd be nice if they did this, and making that a norm in the relationship. That way, before the intimacy dates, you can pull out those things and learn more about each other. That might be a fun way to communicate things more effectively and yeah, keep the spark going. This is really fun for building anticipation and also engaging in each other's erotic energy more often, which is really important. You can also sext about it. You can see if that's something that you're into, writing spicy messages to one another, that can act as mental foreplay for the next sexual experience. And when it comes to talking about fantasies with a partner, it's okay if it feels awkward and weird, then you're probably doing it right. It's okay if there's a discrepancy, meaning you like things that your partner doesn't like, so forth. It's okay. But having open conversations without shame is really important and can be amazing for your relationship. What do you masturbate to? What kind of porn do you like? What do you fantasize about? And accepting the discomfort of maybe having like jealousy or envy feelings, it's natural to happen, but being able to openly talk about these things is really healthy. Also, it's really important to get more comfortable stating boundaries when it comes to these types of conversations. Let's say somebody is really into calling you daddy or something, or calling you baby, but you don't like that. It's okay to be like, oh yeah, I don't really like when you call me my daddy, but you can call me Pookie. Pookie's in my mind because I just saw Rent the musical. Or you can call me sexy, or I don't know, something like that. Some people aren't into pet names, some people are, that kind of thing, but it's okay to state those boundaries, and communication like that builds confidence over time. So I will say that if you are still struggling with sexual communication and improving intimacy and spicing things up, I do recommend that you reach out to a sex therapist. I understand that this can be a privileged type of thing to do, but you can always go through your insurance and see if insurance covers one. I see a therapist myself through my insurance, so just see what your options are. You can also check out Our Ritual. Our Ritual, I've talked about it in past videos, but it's an amazing program where you get set up with a relationship expert, and this is someone who is a licensed therapist who can help you navigate some relationship challenges. So I'll put the link below for Our Ritual if you want to check that out. But yeah, again, if you have any topic requests, then make sure to subscribe to my FanPal. You get one per month, and thank you for the anonymous person for writing that in. I hope it was helpful. All of these types of tips can be applied to any age, but I understand that if you're in your 60s and you've been together for over 30 years, you really might want to try new ways to spice things up. So I hope that there was at least one thing that you want to try that you haven't tried yet that you learned from this video. And yeah, thank you so much for the support. And yeah, watching till the end. Watching till the end is super helpful. And maybe share this with somebody who you think might benefit from this, and just talking about these topics helps build confidence and hopefully empowers you, because I love talking about penis and vagina, and the more that we talk about these things, the better our sex lives and psychological well-being. So everyone, please make pleasurable decisions and decisions because you deserve it, and I'll see you next week for another video. Goodbye.